And thank you all for joining another edition of Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. I want to thank everybody for joining us live from Houston this weekend. Out here for the John Lucas camp, as well as spending time with the family. So I figured I'd go live from Houston. We have some great guests as usual. First of all, I want to thank everybody. Episode number 75. Wow, can you guys believe it? It's been 3 years. We've had a host of guests, and tonight is no different. A lot of you guys, I get messages from time to time for people that are interested in becoming DOBOs, as we call them, and that's Director of Operations of Basketball Operations. And, tonight's no different. And this young lady that we have as our first guest was introduced to me by relationships. And I stress you guys how important relationships are. And she's no different. Excellent connection. And I was so glad to meet her. Our first guest is Coach Laderica Paul from North Texas University, who is the Director of Basketball Operations there. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Dave. Thank you for having me on here.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming on. And, like I said, I was excited to bring you on the show because you're going to be that key to a lot of people that are trying to break into this business as a DOBO, as we call them. And just to start off, how's it been so far at North Texas as a DOBO so far?
It's been amazing. It has been amazing. I will say my journey alone has brought me to this point, obviously, but it's truly honestly one of those blessings. And when I got the call to even become a part of this family, it was an automatic yes. It wasn't much of a hesitation for me. So it's been pretty good. I've loved it. Our staff is amazing. It's almost like one of those things okay, this is too good to be true. What's really going on?
Okay. Well, tell me this. What is your experience basketball wise? Because, a lot of people always ask, what type of experience do they need? What's been your experience from the basketball perspective?
From the basketball perspective, are you talking just here at North Texas or just journey wise?
Journey wise, all the way up to North Texas.
Man, okay. So I've grew up playing basketball since maybe the age of 4 or 5 years old. Born and raised Dallas, Texas. I'll fast forward through high school. I went to Scotland High School out of Dallas, and after
Larry Johnson.
Yes, sir. After high school, I went on to play at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and I transferred maybe my sophomore year, and I ended up finishing out 2 degrees later at A&M Corpus Christi. Go Islanders, forever indebted. Proud alumni.
Beautiful campus, I may add. I love that campus.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. So just a little tidbit around Corpus was my career ended, but it was also a blessing that I didn't know it would be. That was how I got my start into coaching, how I got my step into college coaching, operations, the whole nine. I was fortunate that Coach Chadwick allowed me to just study and learn under him. After I finished my graduate assistantship there, I went on to be the assistant operations coordinator at the University of North Central University in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Right after George Floyd's death and the whole nine took place in Minnesota. So I was kind of on alert moving out to Minnesota and was just kind of hesitant a little bit because Chadwick kind of gave me a token of wisdom. It's just like, whatever you do, be confident in it, be courageous in it, and walk in it. God has blessed you with this opportunity, so take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
From there, I coached and I did operations at North Central. We ended up winning a championship there, first time in program history it was done. Shortly after, I was there for a year, really a season, not even a full year. I got a call to come back home, Texas Women's University, where I was a coaching assistant. It was classified as a graduate assistant, but I already had my master's degree. So ideally, it was your second assistant coach. Fast forward a year later, I get a call from the university, from Incarnate Word in San Antonio.
UIW?
UIW. And that's where I was title-wise director of basketball operations.
Okay.
After UIW, Jason Burton, head coach here at North Texas, just kind of gave me a call. And without a doubt, I said, yes, I'm back home. It's my city. Always loved North Texas. Grew up watching North Texas as a kid, coming to the games and everything. So it's kind of what led me here. And I will say everything along the way, journey-wise, it really played a part. And I didn't really know how it would all come together, but it made sense. And I feel like I finally found my niche. I think at only have a couple more hours at my age. I won't say it on here, but I have a birthday tomorrow, so that's a blessing as well. But
happy birthday. Happy
thank you,
birthday.
my
birthday's at the end of the month. So yeah,
let's go.
September babies. Yes, September
Go.
babies.
But no, I didn't really know how it would all add up. And it's like in my 20s, I'm finally feeling like I have my groove, like I found my rhythm. And it's almost like I'm right where I need to be. It's like when you reach that level of alignment, I know I'm nowhere near as old as the listeners or the viewers here on this podcast, but at the same token, I feel like I'm in my rhythm right now, kind of in my prime. So
Okay. So as Adobo, do they have you out recruiting yet?
not out recruiting. The most that would actually take place will be probably on campus with practice players or so. So nothing out actually traveling, recruiting flights or anything. I do talk with our recruits heavily throughout the week. Our entire staff does that. So that's as involved as I'll get in recruiting right now. I know Adobo looks different at other institutions. That's not our case here. We have a stacked staff, I will say.
So yeah, because you have an assistant who basically handles the recruitment coordinating, correct?
Yes, we have a recruiting coordinator. We have a director of recruiting. So they handle a lot logistically when it comes to recruiting and travel.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So just for the listeners that are curious, what's a typical day as Adobo in North Texas?
Ooh, depends on the day. So obviously today was Labor Day. For me, it was more so of emails and what I try to do on Sunday evenings. Obviously today's Monday, but on a Sunday evening, a typical work week, is I'll just look through our calendar. I'll look at our teamworks and make sure our hours and everything is up to date. We're good to go for the week. I'll check in with Coach Burton. Just checking in. You need anything on your mind for the week? So I can kind of be proactive. So if it's something he wants to do on a Thursday, I can handle it on a Monday morning. Day to day, what it looks like is I try to be the first one in the office. I've been beat out a couple of times. But my days typically start so early, but they end so late. I'm more than likely.
Now, I want you to touch on that. When you say early, what's an early day?
Oh, my alarm's going off at 5 a.m.
And you're in the office by what time?
No later than 8. No later than 8. I've had a couple 8:30s, 8:40s, 8:40 days. Half the time, I'm racing Jason to the office. He's not beating me to the office. I don't know. That's just personal for me. Like I don't, because if it's anything that needs to be done and I'm not there, and it's like my head coach didn't beat me to the office, I'm kind of like that level of competitive. Like I'm gonna beat him to the office. So if anything that is taking place, I can be the first one to tell him, or at least the first person that can figure out a solution for it.
Okay. So Monday through Friday, what's a typical day, Monday through Friday, outside of practice? How does it go when you get in from 8 until I'm assuming probably 6:30, 7 more than likely, right?
Yeah. So started off email, so to say. Maybe it was something I missed overnight, or maybe it's something I didn't get to the week before or the day before. Catching up on emails, might have a couple of meetings that morning. If I am having meetings, I try to schedule them around our practice block, so I'm not missing practice. I'm probably handling scheduling. I'm probably making sure there are no facility conflicts. It's more so being proactive before that day even gets started. So Tuesday should already be complete, thought out, logistically functioning well on a Monday, if that makes sense. Like you're always working a day ahead. So if there is any type of conflict, you probably have a track record of everything you've checked off to make sure everything is good. And And it's just always good to work ahead. That's one thing. Probably after practice is more so of prep work. Right now, since we haven't played a game just yet, it's travel, just finalizing
Mhm.
all travel logistics. And it's always competitive for me because I'm always racing against myself. Like, where do I want to be by September 15th? Where do I want to be by October 1? Are
Mhm.
uniforms in? I'm checking on gear. I'm checking on anything from like media day. Like media day needs to be scheduled ahead of times, but can't have media day with no uniform. So it's just more so being proactive. And the good thing about it is when I started, I was able to kind of hit the ground running. Versus when I got the UIW, it was maybe late August. So it's playing catch up with everything.
Yes. Mhm.
Benefit here is I came in at a good time to where I can start getting the ball rolling on a lot of these things to where June, July, a lot of stuff was taken care of already. So
Well, and let me ask you this. So, I know the next step for you, aspiration wise, is to basically move into that assistant coaching spot, correct?
I don't know. I
Really?
get asked, I get asked that a lot. I get asked that a lot.
Okay.
And the thing, and a lot of people, and I hope a lot of people take this piece and just kind of keep it. It's more so of a growth for me to be
Hmm.
in a Dobo role. But I enjoy what I do. And
Okay.
a lot of my Dobo friends are like, yo, you're insane. And I'm like, well, you got to have some type of level of insanity to you to actually enjoy
Hmm.
what you do. But at the forefront of everything I do is service. It's servitude.
Okay.
Servitude is my only attitude. And it goes a long way. Like, this is a thankless job. But at that same
Hmm.
token, like a lot of people are trying to break into Dobo roles just to get to the next stop, right? Just to get to the next position, the next title. And it's like, if I do that, if I'm chasing that for as long as I desire to be in college athletics, I'll always be running because then that'll never be enough, right? At least in a
Yes.
Dobo role, you can kind of expand yourself skillfully. You'll always grow. But I think as a person, I just truly enjoy the multitasking to it, the smiles, the joys, the experiences of our student athletes. Because when I was an athlete, I enjoyed the things and the memories that my Dobo actually created for me. So that's another part of being a Dobo. You're serving everybody. People look to you all the time for answers. You always have to have an answer or figure it out. Again, it's a thankless job. It's a lot to take on as a person. But once you find something that you're really good at, that you're passionate about, and if it's people that you're doing it for, you found your joy. And I feel like I found my
Absolutely.
joy. Now ask me again in maybe about 4 to 5 years, and then the answer might just change. But I think for right now, I'm genuinely just excited for the journey, the joy that comes with just being, existing, and doing the best I can with what we have right now.
So it's more growth for you, is
It's
what you're
more
saying.
so it's more so growth, it's discovery. I've learned so much about myself. Um, and I feel like the thing is, if you throw me into an assistant role, I'm gonna thrive at it. I'll be great at it because I'm gonna work hard at everything and anything that is put in front of me. It's a task. I never back down from a challenge. But at the same token, it's almost like I can be your utility player. What do you need
I
done
like
today,
that.
coach?
I like that.
Oh, film? Okay, got it. I can just get it. I can kind of just get it done. I'm that easygoing person where if you just ask me to take care of it, it'll get taken care of. So
So let me ask this, and this is always a question not only that I have, but a lot of the listeners have. What is your interaction with the players as the Dobo?
it's actually one of the best parts of my days, depending on what the interaction is. But I talk to them 24/7. I have to. They are a huge part of my job, a huge part of my why. And I have a couple of academic kids. Like I have one-on-one meetings with them. Most of them is really just checking. I text with them all the time. I was just texting with one yesterday morning. She was talking
Mhm.
about getting shots up in the gym, and it's just while I get a chance to work with our recruiting coordinator and everything and build relationships with our recruits, I can do the
Mhm.
same thing with our current players. Like one thing you never want to do is to stop recruiting the players that you have because it's so easy to
Absolutely.
lose them, right? They
Mhm.
don't ever want to feel like they don't matter. They're not being seen, heard, valued by their coaches, right?
Mhm.
That's never the case. I might not be your coach on the court, but I'm your coach off the floor. I'm the person that you're going to have to talk to when it comes to food when we're traveling, when it comes to gear that you need, when it comes to meals and scheduling and the whole nine. So my interaction with them day to day, I take it very, very serious. Um, and I will say at my age, half the time it's like, oh, it's just LD. And it's like, no, but I'm actually serious, guys. Like,
Yeah.
gotta take care of this stuff, especially when it comes to academics. One thing I know I do notice about our girls is when LD is serious, it's like, okay, who did it? Like LD is so serious right now, like lock in, right? Because I'm so easy, chill, easy going in a sense that
Mm-hmm.
it's like if I have to get on to you about something, I've probably already given you a reminder about. I need you to get it done so I don't have to repeat myself. So that's when
So they
like
kind of look at you as a big sister.
big sister, mentor. But I absolutely have no problem getting on to him because if people never got on to me, if the coaches that I had never got on to me, the doubles that I had never got on to me, I wouldn't be the
Mm-hmm.
one I am today. So it's just more so of like I really want them to take advantage of their opportunity to just play college basketball at the highest level.
So let me ask this, and this is what I always think that's so interesting. You know, as you got towards the end of your career, what really made you say, you know what, I want to go into this Dobo role or coaching or whatever the thought was to say I'm going to move? Was it a mentor that made you say this is what I want to do, or was it something else?
Um, it was a plethora of things, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Multiple things and multiple people just in my life. The thing is, when my career ended, it was so sudden, and it was like, LD, you had all these dreams, goals, and aspirations about what you want your life to be like. Once the
Mm-hmm.
ball does stop bouncing, now I actually have to put action behind these thoughts. I did have the right people in place to speak life into me, to speak value into me, and to kind of direct me. When I became a graduate assistant, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a GA, then I'm gonna go coach. Can't tell me nothing else. I'm gonna be a coach, right? I'm gonna be the
Okay.
best recruiter there is. I'll be the best relationship builder. I was just hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But once I moved to Minnesota, it was just like just gaining experience. I was the one that they just threw into the fire, just throwing into the fire.
Okay.
So I'm figuring things out along the way, um, and just trying to make things work. But I did have a couple of mentors in my life that kind of just said, go with what feels right, go with where
Okay.
your heart takes you, go with what you're passionate about, and find something that you love to do. And I truly love interacting with people, and I
Mm-hmm.
love serving others. I feel like it's a blessing and a curse at times, just because a lot of people will probably see the things that I do and they'll probably take advantage of it. Like, we're human. Half the time, people take advantage of things and don't even know that they
Absolutely.
are. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, it's a true joy for me to just serve other people.
Okay, I like that. I like that. And so, for people that are aspiring to break in, what would be your advice for people that are aspiring to be Dobos?
Make sure it's what you want to do. Again,
Okay.
being a dobo is a thankless job. And many people, again, like I said earlier, they want to be a dobo just to get to the next place. You have
Hmm.
to be great at what you do right now in order to be great, amazing, wonderful at the next thing that you desire to do.
Okay.
And I have a quote, it's actually over on my wall. It's love the
Mhm.
calling you have, not the calling you wish you had. You have to be able to be present in your
I
present
like
moment.
that.
You have to
Hmm.
be a star. You got to be an all-star in what you're doing right now, because that's the only way you're going to climb that ladder and get to where you're trying to go.
Be a star at your role. Absolutely.
You got to be a
Absolutely.
star.
I
You have to
love
be a
that.
star. You have to. And on top of that, I'd say be organized. Communication is one of the largest part. Like, I've been blasting out emails and text messages all day today. I know it's a holiday, so I try to be cognizant of everyone's time and them spending time with their families, but also knowing like we practice like early in the morning, so it's things that has to get out, it's information that needs to get out.
Hmm.
um, it's just communicating, organization. Make sure this is something you're passionate about. And also be willing to be stretched, because while you think you have all the answers, you don't. Also, don't be so close minded to say that, oh, what I know is right. No, you actually might just be wrong. Another piece of advice might just be tapping in with your head coach, tapping in with your assistants, your associates. Don't allow titles to limit what you can do for others and how you can serve others.
Okay.
I will say another piece is build relationships with administration, build relationships with the other side of campus.
Absolutely.
You never know how you can kind of bridge the gap with a lot of things. I want to say we were literally just having a meeting with our Greeks and our sororities and everyone maybe about a week or so ago, and just looking to build that, build that bridge, build up that relationship. And as a Dobo, you are the liaison on the other side of campus. You are the liaison for upper
Hmm.
administration and athletics, academics. For the people that don't really see athletics, if people don't know your women's basketball program, that is solely on you. Yes, your coaches can get out
Great.
and get active as well, and your players can too. But a sole part of who you are as a Dobo is a relationship builder. You're a connector. Can you speak to people? Can you communicate? And can you bring everyone together and a happy medium on one platform?
I like that. I like that. And I can see why you were so highly referred to and revered, because just listening to you, you almost got me like, let's go get it.
Hey,
And that's a good thing, because that's important not only on the everyday occurrence, but from a situation where, like you said, when it gets close to the season time, you got to be tapped in to get the fans involved and all that good stuff. So you're building those relationships right now. So when I make it out there to one of those fan days, and you got a packed out gym, I know why.
yeah, yeah. And it's almost like, what do you want to make of this moment, this opportunity? For
Hmm.
me, another part of saying yes to this job is this is a brand new staff. Super
Yes.
excited. Coach
Hmm.
Burton is living out his dream right now. How can I play a small role in that? Let's enhance
Hmm.
this. It's more so living day by day. And I
And I,
think
I love that. I love that part. And not to cut you off, what you just said is just a phrase that I use, but just in different wording. It's always, how can I add value to what we're doing?
yep. How can I add value to what we're doing? And I tell our managers, because I'm over our student managers, our
Hmm.
practice players as well. Don't be the problem. Be a part of the solution.
Absolutely.
How
I
can you
like
add
that.
value to where we are? How can you help us grow? And how can you help us advance and level up to where we're trying to get? Right? Like, we're just hitting the surface. And it's a great thing that we're new staff. But I want year one to be amazing. I want us to do things that has never been done. So why
Hmm.
not be a person that brings those ideas to the table? And then, knowing the staff that we have, we bring that together as one, and we make it come true, make it become a reality. And then what do you do in year two? You build on that. Year three, amazing. And you just keep building it, setting a foundation. And who wouldn't want to be a part of something like that?
Let me ask you this, and I'm just really picking your brain right now. When you start talking about relationships and stuff like that, do you actually go to like Final Four coaching conventions and stuff like that as well?
Yes. So this past Final Four, it was in Dallas.
Yes, it
Um,
was. I
it
was there.
was. And me and one of my good friends, Jasmine Hotchkins, she's the former Dobo for Pepperdine women's
Okay.
basketball. We actually put on the first one that we've ever done, and we'll do it again this year.
Mhm.
Um, it was like a Dobo meet and greet. So it started
Ah,
as, and we did it. Found it was a nice coffee shop downtown, Bernie and Bean Coffee Company, I want to say.
okay.
Cute spot, really really cute spot, right?
Hmm.
We're thinking, oh, we'll get maybe about 40. We'll be lucky to get 40 or 50 people in here. It
Hmm.
had to be at least 110, 120 individuals in that coffee spot. And we partnered
Dobos?
Dobos.
Wow.
Dobos,
And
man.
from all level, I assume, not just D1, D1, D2, D3, NAIA, I assume.
Yes. And
Nice.
the large part behind it, and I spoke on it at the end of the event, was I just wanted to create a space for everyone to grow, connect, and learn from one another. Like, you may have just met the person that's going to help you 2 years from now, 10 years from now. But if we
Hmm.
can grow and if we can create spaces for one another to just simply be, and especially at the Final Four, WBCA convention, all of these things,
Yes.
people are so quick to look at the title that's on the shirt and say, I'm going to associate with the person that's from Kentucky. Oh, I'm going to go talk to
Yeah.
Kansas, University of Kansas. Oh, South Carolina, she knows Don. Like, I'm not about the title. I don't care about the level or the school. I care about the person and the heart that they have. right? So if you can create that space for people to just grow, connect, you've done a great thing. Because I strongly believe relationships drive winning, but relationships drive a lot of good into the world, and we need a little bit more good going on around us.
Well, what people fail to understand, you hit it right on the head, that there are some great minds in AI, some great minds in D3, some great minds in D2. There's great minds in JUCO. And
Mhm.
a lot of these people that are at the D1 level, that's where they got their start at, you know, and people don't understand that. And like you said, they look at the big lights and the big glitz and glamour, so to speak. Like you said, you know, like, you know, of course, Don's an amazing coach. You know, the coach of Kentucky, she's amazing as well. You know, and as you're saying, you're really saying people are looking at the blue bloods and how can they get fast track to that automatically. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to work your way up and you have to build those relationships to get to that point. I mean, I remember when Don was at Temple, you know, like people don't talk about stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so it's not just you're going to be that person overnight.
Mm-hmm. It's more so bloom where you're planted.
I like that. I like
Bloom
that.
where you're planted. Be where your
Mhm.
feet are. It's little things like that. And if you are too busy focused on where you're trying to go, you're going to fail at where you are.
Exactly, because you don't have your mind set on, like you said, how I can add the most value to where I'm at right now. Because if you're adding value, people are going to see that. And I tell kids, just like I tell coaches, you never know who's watching that will give you that stepping stone to the next level. You know, you
Yeah.
just don't. If you have your head down, you're working hard, people will notice the hard work.
Yes. Yes. And that was truly how I got to this position. I had no idea that my call was coming.
Hmm.
I was in the middle of planning preseason and everything, getting hotels and stuff for the preseason that UIW is about to have when I
Hmm.
got the call. And it's like, if I would have stopped working at the end of the season and began seeking out a new opportunity, a fresh opportunity, this would have
You,
never came my way.
you missed your calling.
Would have
Absolutely.
missed your calling. It's God's timing, right? And everything
Mhm.
is now in alignment. So that's why I can give everything I have 24 hours. That's all we get. 24 hours. That's all we get.
Hmm. And so in closing, before I let you go, you know, I noticed that you're passionate about helping Dobos and connecting. Can they reach out to you if they have any questions?
Absolutely.
They can reach out to you on Twitter. How can they reach out to you?
Twitter. You can find I'm Laderica Paul, LadericA, Paul,
Hmm.
Paul, on every platform. First name,
Okay.
last name. Pretty simple. You can shoot me an email, laderica.paul@unt.edu. Instagram, Twitter. I would put my number out there, but I don't know who's
Don't
gonna
do
watch.
that. Don't do that. Don't do
Um,
that.
but I think the part about me is I do a lot of mentoring. I talk to a lot of up and coming GAs, student managers,
Mm,
players that are thinking about moving into this role as well. And I recently just did a Dobo cohort with Grow the Game.
okay.
One of the head managers at Ole Miss, Ashton Hop. She actually reached out to me and asked me to do a cohort, and we did a 4 week long cohort and just teaching them skills, tips, and tricks on how to be a Dobo and the things that you truly need to succeed. So you can always reach out to me. I'm an open book. I'm always willing to be real and share my experiences, do's and don'ts,
Hmm.
and things I've learned along the way, hard lessons as well. So
Okay. And let me just last question: are you going to have something in Cleveland this year at the Final Four?
absolutely. We are actually planning, rocking, and rolling right now. We just got to find a nice spot.
When you do, let me know. I will be there to support. Absolutely.
You're more than welcome. We're open arms.
I appreciate it. Listen, I mean, this was fantastic. Thank you so much. You know, Demond spoke so high of you, and you know, this only confirms it as well. Thank you for being a part of the show. You family now, so you
Hey,
know
we
you part of the
family.
show now.
I appreciate you, and I love being episode 75, correct?
Yep,
And
75.
I hope to see episode 255, like
Hey,
three
I
episode
receive
300.
it. I definitely
Episode,
receive it. And when I come out there, I will definitely make it a point to come shake hands and everything. And thank you so much for coming on to the show today. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be talking soon. Trust me. Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right. Take care. You're welcome.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Listen, for you Dobos, you can watch this on YouTube. You can watch it again on Twitter, whatever you want. That's the type of person a staff would want on their team, because not only is she going to get it done, she has a passion for it. She's not just using this to say, okay, I'm going to be here for 6 to 9 months and then I'm on my way to the next move. And, you have to want people like that on your staff, because, in order to move and be successful in this business, you have to be on a position in a staff where everybody's aligned. And if everybody's not aligned, sometimes it's the small details in college basketball between winning and losing. And sometimes those are things in regards to being prepared. If you're not prepared, it's that one thing that may throw everything off. Man, our next guest, I'm so happy for. I can't wait to bring her on right now. And, as we've been trying to schedule to get this up and going, she got the job at Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte. I'm going to bring her in right now because I'm excited to bring her in. Coach Monterica Warren, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. First of all, congratulations. When I saw you get there, I was like, okay, I see you out there.
Yeah, it was wild. Very, very wild.
I can only imagine since you got the call, it's been 100 miles and running. I can only imagine.
Oh my gosh. When I say 100 miles, it's 100 miles, 100 miles per hour. I probably average about, because my mind's just going all the time, maybe about 6 hours, 5 hours of sleep. I'm up, I'm asleep, I'm back up. So it's been crazy. It's been crazy, but I'm blessed. I'm thankful, and I'm excited to be here on your show and, give you guys some insight about me.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump right into that.
Yeah.
Tell us about Johnson C. Smith for the listeners that don't know about Johnson C. Smith.
Okay, so Johnson C. Smith is the only HBCU in downtown Charlotte. We are in the heart of Charlotte.
Wow.
It's a small, yeah. Like when I say in the heart, I could walk to downtown from where I am, from my office. So small college, small D2 college. We play in the CIAA. Amazing, beautiful campus. A lot of people don't know much about it as far as it being a D2 school. I think that it's kind of been under the radar, but I'm trying to turn that around and get people knowing about Johnson C. Smith, because we have a lot to offer. We just got a new president. She's on go. When I say she's on go, she is trying to elevate. She's trying to level up. So I'm excited about her being here. Just a really, really good school that I think that it's a hidden gem, perfect, topic right now. Hidden gem. It's a hidden gem. And I just want to be able to put that on a platform for everybody else to see. So.
Absolutely. I like that. And being in Charlotte, I just came out last week. I was in Winston-Salem and I drove up from Atlanta. So on my way back, Charlotte has one of my favorite places, the Smoke Pit. Oh,
wow. I haven't heard of that. What do they cook?
Oh my gosh. You got to go to the Smoke Pit. It's a barbecue place. There's like 4 or 5 of them in Charlotte, and I make it my business. If I have to stop and be late somewhere, I'm stopping there.
Wait, I think I might know the Smoke Pit. I might have
So there's one in Monroe, there's one in Charlotte, there's one in Gaston, and there's another one north of Charlotte. I can't remember where the one north of Charlotte is, but doesn't matter. When you get a chance, you'll thank me later.
I think we've for like our meetings, our athletic meetings. I think that's who caters.
Who caters? Yes.
Yes. It's so macaroni.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The macaroni and the brisket.
Oh my
all day.
Gosh. And then they set out the barbecue sauce, like they set it out so nice and neat. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one for sure. So yeah, you know what you're talking about right now.
So like I said, with you getting right into it at Johnson C. Smith and you getting hired, and understanding that it's go, because the CIAA is one of the most competitive D2 conferences in the country, and people don't know that on the women's side. Fayetteville State won it last year, and man, they were good. As a matter of fact, Fayetteville State went far in the D2 tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sure did, definitely did.
And so, that lets you know right there, you got to be ready. I mean, because it's going to be a gauntlet every game. It's not, okay, well, we play this team, we kind of take tonight off. No, everybody comes after it at the CIAA. Now, for me, it's the pageantry of the CIAA. I went to HBCU my freshman year before I transferred, and it's always the rivalry games. Who's Johnson C. Smith's rivalry? Let me ask that.
Ooh, historically, because we're right down the street from Livingston.
Oh, from Livingston. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Livingston. I want to say Winston.
Winston-Salem. Same state.
I'm interested in dabbling with some more people, but I'm not going to say too many names because these are my personal people. So I'm trying to shake some feathers coming into this conference. So and speaking of Fayetteville, Serena King is actually one of my close mentors. So she talks to me often, kind of helping me, gauging me, just being a sounding board for me, especially with her being a veteran in this industry. Just her, she's good people. She's good people for sure.
Okay. And so what are the goals for your first season? I always like to ask that for the first year coaches. What are your goals?
So my goals this year, honestly, I'm focusing on culture. I want to change the culture. I want to, like we mentioned in the beginning, put this on the forefront, get this hidden gem on the map. Like you said, very, very competitive conference, CIAA. And I think we have a lot of intangibles that can make us even more competitive. Being in the heart of Charlotte, it's a great recruiting tool. So many different things that we can get into in Charlotte, when we bring people in. So it's just, trying to shift the culture, get people to understand what we're trying to achieve as far as, academically in the community, just growing the young woman within. I think that those are my core values right now. But I'm always competing. So I'm definitely wanting to go after the Southern Division my first year. So that's one of my competitive goals, and compete for a CIAA title for sure.
Absolutely.
I think that we have what we need. So.
Okay. As you can see, some of your followers are checking it out tonight. Coach Little, definitely a good friend of the show. He's been very supportive, and I was so happy for you when you got this, and I can't wait to see what you do. Let's talk about the roster that you have.
Okay. And Carl Little, what's up, man?
That's my guy right there. When I say that's my guy.
Yeah, he's real cool.
Oh, yeah. So the roster that you have, let's talk about this roster. Who do you have? Let's talk about them. Not really individually. We can, you can mention the names. Then we'll talk about some of the ones that'll be featured for this year.
So we have a transfer post, Division I. She was a transfer from Austin Peay, Ashley Curvin. She's 6'2", athletic, long kid. I'm excited to bring her in. I think she's going to be a dominant piece for us. She's a leader. She's vocal. She's passionate about what she does. I think that she's locked into her right now. That's kind of like the emphasis for us, to be locked into ourselves and be locked into us as a team. So, she right now is kind of like holding that chip on her shoulder. And I'm just continuing to give her confidence and, make her know, like, this is your time. Seize this moment. So Ashley Curvin, we're looking to bring back 2 injured players from last year. Sierra Harris, she is a shooting guard. She was the rookie of the year her freshman year in the CIAA. So she's back. She's ready to go. She's looking good. So she's a knockdown 3-point shooter. She's also a leader, vocal. I'm excited to have her back. And then we have Khalees Carmen, who is a big guard. She's a big guard, shoot the 3, can get to the basket, high energy kid. Also another leader, another vocal kid, another kid that just brings that energy every day. And I've given all three of them a task to be leaders, to be leaders on the court, off the court. You have to be able to reiterate me and be a coach in the locker room when I'm not around and understand what it takes to be a championship team and lock into that. So I'm excited to bring them three back for sure. But honestly, every kid that I have on my team, I'm trying my best to pour into them and pull out of them, their greatest qualities and look their weakest qualities right in the eye and say, I'm gonna knock this out. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better today. Every day we have to get better. We're striding to get better. And I think that's what, I'm priding myself on right now. Just the small wins every day. This is a new thing for them. New culture, new coach, new environment. It's just, I thought I was going to get more pushback with just the expectation to be great. But honestly, kids are going to believe what you put out, so I'm not coming in half stepping. I'm not coming in asking them to give me greatness, and I'm not giving you guys that, so I think it's easier for them to receive it from me because of the simple fact that I'm pouring into y'all. I'm getting up, I'm in the gym 4:30 in the morning with a 6 a.m. workout. So getting things going, like getting you guys breakfast, grabbing some bananas, some granola bars, coming into the practices for you all, just trying to make you know that, yes, I'm asking from you, but I'm also giving to you. So, just kind of keeping that dynamic going and letting them know that I got their back the same way that I need them to have mine. So
I like that. And that leads right into my next question, actually. What is a typical day at Johnson C. Smith for you and for your players in regards to getting ready for the season?
So right now, I don't think anybody knows, but I have not been able to hire my staff yet. So I have been here by myself. So honestly, I go into my office maybe for about 5-10 minutes. And then after that, I'm doing individual after individual after individual, having whatever meetings we need to have, going to meet with admissions, compliance, financial aid, you name it, buying gear, getting locker rooms together. I was once a Dobo before. So, no task is too big for me. So I'm not sitting here like, oh, I'm a head coach, I shouldn't be doing these things. No, if I want something done the right way, I'm going to do it myself. I don't need to ask anybody. I know how to get it done. So, just getting locker rooms together, just getting the little things together, ordering gear, equipment. So I'll be excited when I get my staff here. So on a day-to-day basis, we try to get in the gym. We have our individuals. We have about 2 or 3 groups a day that go in. We have our about an hour, 45-minute workout. They usually go to weights or conditioning, 3 times a week. So then they have their study hall hour, and then, that's ran by me. Right now, everybody's on a mandatory study hall because, again, culture is big. So I need them to understand that academics is not under anything. Academics is at the top. It's at the forefront. So if we can't get that done, then nothing else matters. So academics, we have our study hall, and then we're actually about to start implementing film. We've had enough practices, enough workouts to actually, break down some of that stuff and dissect it. So we'll be doing that. And, just having a lot of fun. I like to have fun. I like to enjoy the moment. So just having a lot of fun, getting it in and enjoying it while we're doing it. So
I like that. And so another thing I wanted to talk about while I have you on the show, and, we know you just stress the importance of grades. So with you being at a D2, you're not fully funded, correct?
So we're not fully funded up like the whole team. So I have enough to give about 10 full scholarships to our players. And then, the rest will be partials. Most of the time we learn how to package. There's a lot of packaging that we can do.
Yes, I was leading you right into that. Absolutely.
You got to learn how to be an innovator. And I feel like I'm good with being innovative. So I know that the packaging is big. Finding those North Carolina kids that you can bring in that get the North Carolina Promise, academics, you get the academic scholarships as well. So we package over here to make it make sense. So we'll have a team full of kids with full scholarships based off of, packaging and how we recruit and making sure that we, budget it the right way. So technically we're not fully funded, but we're fully funded, if you get what I'm saying. So
yes. And it leads to my next question as well, because you stressed academics. So basically, if I'm over a 3.0, you can get me in between a partial athletic and a partial academic, correct?
Yes. Yep.
I can't tell you how many times I talk about that on the show, how important it is to have those grades in line, because it makes you more marketable. And as you just said, I can get, as a coach, you can get that person on, basically for free when you start talking Pell, we start talking North Carolina Promise, we start talking about, the little bit of money that you may have to kick in from the athletic department. And then if you're over a 3.0, 3.5, do you guys have the presidential scholarship as well?
Yes, we do. Presidential, we have the Duke Scholar. Yeah, we have all of those things. So
yeah, we're speaking that same language, because now you can package that person to where, man, you may just have to cover the books or their meal plan or something like that, correct?
Really, honestly, and because they give us enough, again, like I said, we get enough for 10 scholarships. So imagine if I can give kids enough up until, that cover whatever that North Carolina Promise covers, whatever that Duke Scholarship covers. And then now I have more money left over for those kids that come in and maybe their packaging didn't equate to what they needed it to. I have a little bit more AGIA that I can just, hey, go ahead. I'm going to pay for those books. I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for, meal plan, whatever it is. So it works out. And it's hard to explain because so many kids are stuck on D1 and they think that, D1 and, everything's paid for and this, that, and the third, but it's the same here, but we just have to be a little bit more innovative with it. That's it.
Listen, money's money. If it's paid for, it's paid for. And, some kids actually, forgive me for this, they kill me saying they'll pass on a D2 to walk on somewhere and pay to try and play for a D1. I'm looking like that's absolutely crazy. Yeah. And then on top of that, what they don't understand is a lot of times these D2s are just as good as some of those low-level D1s. And, they don't want to hear that. All they hear is it's D1. It's
exactly.
D1. Or, like you said, a lot of times, you can package it together and then they'll say, well, I'm trying to go overseas. And do you understand that D2 young ladies go overseas and play as well? And it's just so many misconceptions where, I like bringing you on and other coaches for them to understand. First of all, wherever you play, you have to have a resume. And if you're playing D1 on the bench clapping, you won't have remotely a chance of going overseas,
No.
And it's just one of those things where people can't understand, like, a Johnson C. Smith, and I'll say this with no shame whatsoever. A lot of times people like to doubt HBCUs, but sometimes HBCUs can be a savior for kids as well, because HBCUs can take a chance on a kid that normally other schools wouldn't take a chance on. And I'll be the first to say that because I've seen it over and over. That one year I was at Bethune-Cookman, you saw kids and they told me they got rejected by so many schools, but said HBCU took them and they blossomed. And not even just from an athletic standpoint, from an academic standpoint, sometimes they had to go to, remedial classes to catch up, whatever the case may be. But it was that HBCU. And I always say, no matter what people say, HBCUs are needed, plain and simple.
Yes, they are needed. And you said something when you were talking, and I use that all the time. I've used that with one of my current freshmen. She was going to be a walk-on at a D1, and she's going to be dominant too this year. She was going to be a walk-on at a D1. And I just told her, I said, what is the end goal for you? What do you want to do?
Thank you. Yes.
What's the end goal? And I think that, with recruiting kids at an HBCU at the D2 level, you have to recruit kids that have an end plan, that have an end goal, and they want something outside of basketball as well. You can't just have kids that's just stuck in the mindset of, I'm going to go play pro. Not saying that we're against that. You can definitely come here and play, go pro, but I need kids with bigger purpose to come play for me, because I'm going to try to pour into that too. I want to pour into that bigger purpose as well. And I think that that's how we thrive. by getting kids that come here that love the game of basketball, but that also have a bigger purpose in life and want to seize the moment. We're seizing the moment around here at Johnson C. Smith. I don't care who you are, but if you're coming to play for me, you're seizing the moment, especially for my female athletes. So we got to seize the moment. We got to be bigger than basketball. So
I like that. Let me ask this: once you get everything up and going from a staff perspective, next year will you consider having a graduate assistant?
Oh yes, I'm working on that now. I'm working on that now. So okay. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that I have brewing over here. I'm just trying to, I think someone said it in your last podcast and they said feet planted. My feet are planted right now. So I want to be able to take all the experience I had at the D1 level and bring it here. We're only a step down. So there's no excuse for us to not give those kids that same experience. So I'm just trying to get people that have a bigger vision and that have foresight like me and want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, because this is bigger than me right now. So I'm just excited. And honestly, my kids can all tell you, like, we're trying to bring that D1-5 here. And we're doing everything we can. So just wait on it and you guys will see. You'll see. But I am trying to get a grad assistant. So if you know anybody, tell them to call me.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, I will definitely let you put out your contact, how they can reach out to you and everything. Because matter of fact, I think I may know somebody as well. And so we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Tell me about Johnson C. Smith as the school. What do they offer? What do they specialize in as far as degrees and, stuff like that? I want people to know about Johnson C. Smith.
So we have a really good biochemistry major. We have a really good nursing program that's actually about to take off. We also have a really good business, and we are actually, honestly, with our new president, that's her main goal right now. So that is kind of, to be honest with you, that is really where I kind of get a little worried, because academically there are a lot more things that we should be offering that can make us more competitive with the Division I schools. So more master programs, but we do have a really good business program. We have a really good nursing program that's about to rocket off. We have a good biochemistry, and we also have a really good Lord, why is it slipping my mind right now? It's slipping my mind. Criminal justice. I'm sorry.
Criminal justice. Okay.
Criminal justice. Okay. So it's just that next level, because with the portal and everything, those graduate kids, they want to come in and they want to play that one last year, but they also want to take advantage of the opportunity and get their masters. So I think right now with our president, her biggest challenge right now is bringing in more master programs so that we can sell the school more, so that's kind of where we're at right now academically. We definitely have to take some bigger strides, but we are resourceful enough to allow kids to get here and be successful and set themselves up for life after college. So
I like that. And so let me ask this as well. And, and this is for you students. Will you have student assistants in the future also?
I have student assistants right now.
Okay.
They have been helping me so much. Thank you, Kalia. Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Keys. Like, without a staff, they have been my staff, and they have been showing up at 5 o'clock in the morning with me, helping me with, everything. I forgot Cliff. So they have been kind of keeping the wheels turning. So I appreciate my student assistants right now. Yes.
Oh yeah, and that's big, because a lot of times, as you know, that student assistant, you're setting that tone. You never know when your coaching tree starts to grow. Some of them may say in a couple of years, I started with Coach Warren as a student assistant, and now they're, a Dobo or assistant coach somewhere, or maybe even a head coach. You never know. And, I always love to see that mentorship being given to these kids that want to help and want to add value. You'll hear me say that 100 times over. Want to add value to help. I don't care if it's JUCO, D3, D2, D1. If you really want this, there is a position for you, and there's a spot. Now, I'm not saying it may be ideal, I want it in downtown Charlotte, because that's ideal. That's ideal. You may have to go out somewhere that's rural and, pretty much put in your time, and you may end up loving it there when you go. You just never know. And I tell people, if you want the opportunity, go find it because it's there. And I'm not saying you're going to get it tomorrow. I'm not going to say you're going to get it in a year. But if you keep grinding, trust me, it's there. And, and you never know, like they could give you a call and say, hey, coach, I really want that assistant coaching job. This is what I offer. This is how I can add value. And you never know. You're like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on you. I like what I hear. I see that look in your eye that you really want this,
Yes.
And that's
you speak my language.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't care whether it's basketball or school. If you have that look, people can see it like, yeah, this person really wants this.
Yes.
They really want it. And, I just tell people all the time, even for me, when I'm all over the place, I was in North Carolina last week. I'm in Houston this week. In this next 6 weeks, my season is basically started because between jamborees and chores and everything, I'm looking at players because this is what I do, but it's a passion as well. So people say, man, you out there. Yeah, I have to be, this isn't just be behind the laptop and just say, hey, I saw a player and I saw their highlights. No, I have to be able to tell you, listen, I saw this player live. This is what they can do. This is what they can't do. This is how they add value to your program, and that's just one of those things where people, if you really want this, and if it's life, basketball, or academics, go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it. And, you're a living testament to that. Look at you now. I'm like, okay, when I saw that go out, I was like, because if I'm not mistaken, right before it happened, when you got the job, I was like, okay, we were just talking, and I was like, oh, you got this now. Look, I was in the frenzy, like, okay, let me think.
Yeah.
And what I could do.
Yeah.
What did I do to help? Because I knew what it was going to be, and the fact that you got it at the time that you did, not only was happy, once past being happy for you, now I was like, okay, she needs this, she needs this, she needs this.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, okay, hey, take a look at this, take a look at this, let me know. And that lets me know your style as well. I was like, okay, so she likes this, she likes that.
Yeah.
And you start taking mental notes of that. But man, I can't say I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. And I can't wait to see. Oh, I will say one thing. I want my Christmas present early. I want my Johnson Smith t-shirt. I want it.
Hey, I got you. No questions asked. No question is asked. You might get a hat, you might get a jacket and a backpack. So
listen, I want to come for the rivalry game because I love those rivalry games. Last year I went to the Bethune-Cookman Fam game. I want to go to the Mississippi Valley Alcorn State game. I want to go to the Alabama A&M Alabama State game. It's that pageantry, and you can guarantee it's going to be a packed gym when it's a rivalry game. Guarantee it.
It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
And definitely. Then I'm an alumni, so I went to Bethune-Cookman, so got 2 rings there.
Stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you're a wildcat. Okay.
I'm a wildcat. Okay. Yes, sir.
Got you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I knew it was something about you. I knew it was something. So Lefevre Hall, 333.
Hey, that's right.
So,
for sure.
But listen, for people that want to contact you, that's interested in being a GA or being an assistant, how can they reach out to you? I definitely want to get that in.
Well, I'm super active on social media, so all of my social media platforms, you can DM me, you can direct, you can comment under something. It's Coach_Monterica. My Instagram is Coach_Monterica24, but my Twitter and our team Twitter, jcsu.wbb. That's on both Instagram and Twitter, and of course my email. I don't want to give out my number, but definitely can give out my email. So that's mwarren WARREN @jcsu.edu, and they can reach out to me there. Honestly, Instagram, email, I'll be on it. I'll respond. So very humble person. I'm out here just trying to live in God's purpose. That's it. So everything that's happening to me right now, I'm just thanking God every day, because had I thought this would be my, path this soon, no, I would not have thought this would be my path, because I'm a sponge, always wanted to learn, always humbly trying to help other people, be a servant leader. Never would I have thought this soon in my career would I be in a position to lead my own program. So I'm just thankful. I'm just blessed, having a good time with my kids and just trying to give them something that they can enjoy outside of coming into practice every day and just going through the motions. We're trying to enjoy this time, seize the moment, love each other, be a unit. And that's all I can ask for. Help me help you, and the same vice versa. That's all I'm asking. So
I like that.
I appreciate people like you too, Mr. David. Like you have been a gem, honestly. So I'm glad that you put this up here because you are a gem, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, no, I appreciate, like I said, anybody that comes on this show, basketball is universal. So it's a family thing for me. I'm big on, a basketball family. So, this won't be your last time on the show. And
Absolutely.
Charlotte's 3 hours away. So I'll have that schedule, and I'm going to make my way up there. And we'll definitely talk some more. I can't wait to see what you do up there. And, definitely good luck this season, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it. You said you was going to come to 6 a.m.
Oh, no,
what was
no,
that?
No,
you said 6 a.m. You coming to pull up?
No. That's a bad internet connection right there. No. I did not say that. I will be at one of those games, but not at that 6 a.m. But my son he's a freshman in college this year, and I'm so happy for him. So I don't have to get up to get him to 6 a.m. practices no more. No. I'll be there for the game. Absolutely. Game starts at either 5:30 or 7, depending on how y'all do it. Oh, that's a quick trip for me up to Charlotte right there. I'll be walking in with my smoke pit.
And you can't come in unless you're bringing me some. So I don't even want to see you.
I got you. I got you.
I need the mac and cheese. I need the banana pudding. Okay.
See, we getting off task because now you're talking my language with that banana pudding. That banana pudding is off the charts.
Man, listen, it is great. I'm sitting like smoke pit. I know I smoke pit, and then it just dawned on me: banana pudding, macaroni and cheese. Crazy.
You know what you're talking about. You absolutely between that, the brisket and the ribs.
Ooh,
you got me. Yeah,
yes.
You got me.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Definitely. We will be talking some more. And like I said, we definitely will be talking some more. Let's just put it like that, because there's some things in the making. And I'm so happy for you because, I can't wait to see how this all turns out. Once you get this thing up and rolling, I know it's just a matter of time. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having
definitely.
me.
And we're going to talk soon, and definitely good luck and enjoy the rest of your holiday. Okay.
Thank you. You too.
All right. You take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Coach Warren, love her to death. I know it's just a matter of time before she takes off. And when she takes off, it's going to be something special up there. And my next guest, when I talk about relationships, I just want to tell this story because this guy right here, man, I thought I was working, and actually I met him through a connection, and when I got there, he was the one that was in charge of taking care of me. And I like to share the story before I bring him on. I was working a contract up in New Hampshire, and, I'm just looking at schools that, around the area, and I saw Keene State. So I reached out to one of the assistant coaches and said, hey, I would love to come and just check out you guys practice. And mind you, they're a D3. Yeah, I could have called New Hampshire. I could have called some of the other schools, but I was like, I just want to see what it looks like. And I was pleasantly surprised when I got up there, and I loved the whole vibe, the whole atmosphere. And that was pre-COVID, so we've had some time. I was pre-COVID. We stayed in touch. He's been at other stops. And when I say relationships are so important, this guy is a hustler. When I say he's a hustler, trust me. And, he would call me and ask me about kids in Georgia or just other kids in general. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that kid. He's this, he's that. This is what he adds value to. And we've just kept that relationship. So, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want to introduce Coach Dawson Dixon, the now head coach of University of Minnesota Vermillion Community College. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. And if you didn't bring up that story, that was going to be one of the first things I brought up. So.
Yeah, man, you remember, man, that was pre-COVID, man, and, just to see how Keene State, even after you left, how they kept, progressing and progressing. For them to win the championship last year, I was like, oh man, look, they're rocking and rolling. And then coach left and he went to Johns Hopkins. And then Coach Hastings took over, and now he's the head coach. I was like, man, sometimes a lot of things comes full circle, because I always remember my visit there, man. You guys took care of me, and I was like, man, this is a D3, and I love this place.
Man, no, that Keene State's a special place, and those coaches over there have done an incredible job. I think they were 28-2 last year. Losing in the Sweet 16 to Swarthmore. They just had an incredible season, and the best part about it is they got pretty much their whole roster back. They lost senior Jarek Seshon, but pretty much have the same exact roster and brought in a couple transfers, so they could do some damage next year again too.
Oh, definitely. And man, I remember again, just a couple months ago. What, hasn't even been a couple months? You've been there, about a month and a half?
Yeah, I actually started like right after 4th of July, like July 5th or 6th or whatever.
So it's coming up on 2 months. And I remember when, you told me you got the job, man, I was so happy for you. And, I was like, man, that's a hike from the Northeast to Minnesota. But, you're doing what you got to do, man. And, man, you put in your dues, man. And, definitely happy for you, man. And, that's why I wanted to bring you on to talk about, because Minnesota Vermilion, correct me, they're a JUCO D3 or JUCO independent?
D3.
Okay, JUCO D3. And I definitely wanted to bring you on for people that are not familiar with JUCO D3s and the difference between JUCO D1, JUCO D2, and JUCO D3, and how you recruit kids to JUCO D3s.
Yeah, so we unfortunately we don't offer athletic scholarships, but we still take FAFSA in the financial aid process. So luckily at Minnesota North Vermilion, we offer a great financial aid package, and the Pell Grant covers a lot of costs. So our guys typically paid about $5,000 to $7,000 for the full year. So it could be like that's after financial aid. So typically I'll say about 4 to 5 a semester, and if almost like $7,000 for the full year.
Can they do work study?
Yeah. So we offer work study, which is awesome for our guys. We have dorms on campus.
That's huge, especially for a JUCO. That's huge.
Yeah. So having dorms and we have a CAF too. So we operate just like a 4-year program.
Nice. I like that. And what conference are you in up there?
So we're in the MCAC. It's like the Minnesota College Athletic Conference. And it's a really competitive conference. School that was in it last year, Rochester CTC, they lost in the Final Four last year in the national tournament. And then Rainy River was they won 19 games. A couple other teams won close to 20 games last year. So it's a really competitive conference. Okay.
So let me ask this. Are you going to play in any JUCO jamborees up there?
Yeah, so we're heading out to we're playing one in North Dakota against Botno, North Dakota or Dakota College. We're hosting one as well, and we're finalizing a few as we speak right now, just the travel details.
Okay. I like that. And man, that's big for a JUCO D3 to play multiple ones. Usually they play one or host it, like you said, but that doesn't surprise me with you. I knew you were going to hit the ground, because that's the way to get those JUCO kids exposure as well. So tell me about your roster for this year.
Yeah, so I pretty much I had to replace the full roster. There was not one returner coming back. So I got 20 guys on roster right now. We got guys from 11 different states, and I got 4 or 5 kids from the Minnesota area. So I'm pretty excited about our roster. We got some serious talent. And I'm really excited to hopefully I can help them get to a 4-year program.
Okay. Now, this is one thing I want to ask. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Would you be open to sending your kids to the Canadian colleges as well? Since you're right 100%.
There? 100%. I would love that. It's so funny. We're only 16 or 18 miles away from Canada. We're very up there.
That's why I brought that up. That's exactly why I brought that up. And actually, it was funny. I've had a guest on the show. He was from the University of New Brunswick, actually. And so I remember when he first reached out and started enlightening me about, Canadian colleges. And I was like, man, why don't more guys take advantage of this? Because as you know, this transfer portal is, You already know. I mean, and what this year, we're close to 50% of those kids didn't get picked up.
Seriously, it's crazy. So I was just at a Division II, Southern New Hampshire University,
Yes.
and so our whole roster pretty much was Division I or transfers. Just because at the scholarship level, it's a luxury.
Please say that again. Please say that one more time, because you were just at Division II, Southern New Hampshire, and most of your roster was what?
Was Division I transfers.
Man, some of these kids, if you don't mind, I'm going to clip that, because these kids do not understand. They think, oh, I'm just going to go to Division II and kill. And no, you're not. You're not going to kill.
It's crazy because the NE10 has been doing this before the transfer portal was a thing. I remember just growing up, because I grew up in Manchester, New Hampshire. So yes. I grew up right in Southern New Hampshire in St. Anselm's backyard. So I every year St. Anselm would get a kid from like Vermont, or they would get an America East transfer. And
yes.
It was crazy. And even Southern New Hampshire would get a Division I transfer every now and then. And it was just, to us, it was kind of like, or in the guys that played and competed in the NE10, it was kind of normal to them.
Yeah.
And now it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy now. And now you got so many kids that think they're either going to transfer up or it's beneath them to transfer down. You ought to be thankful if you're able to get a D2 or NAI. And now we have D3s that are in the game like, hey, I want some of the pie too.
Nichols College this year, they got 2 guards that are transferring from Division I level. They're really, really talented guards.
Thank you. And you're starting to see that in D3s, like you said, they're not just getting, D2 transfers. They're getting NAI, they're getting D1s. They're starting to get some of those JUCO guys too. So, the competitiveness is through the roof on the men's side. And, to be part of that 7%, you need to be thankful and not just think, oh, this is beneath me. Or, when Coach Dixon calls you from Minnesota Vermilion, you say, oh, JUCO D3, because you're connected. I know that, but a lot of these kids don't know that. So, you have connections to a number of coaches because you're active on Twitter, you're a go-getter, and people don't understand that. And to be quite honest, it would best serve them to come to a person like you that can put them out there and has connections, rather than somebody to say, oh, well, come here and our platform will take care of you, so to speak. And we know it can happen if you play well, but it helps so much more when you have somebody that's out there in the fields on your behalf advocating for you.
100%. What I'm telling kids right now is go where you're wanted the most, and go where you can know you can play, because the playing is the most important thing. The kid at Keene State, Jeff Hunter, he had opportunities to go play at the scholarship level, and did those coaches are now then when COVID happened, you know what I mean? They would have brought in some Division I transfers. Who knows what could have happened to Jeff? Jeff averaged close to 20-20 last year, and he has a great shot, or he will be a professional basketball player now by going to a program where he was wanted, and then he could really, really value and he could kill.
So Coach Warren previously brought up a great point. What's the end goal?
Right.
When she's recruiting, what's the end goal? And if the end goal is, okay, I'm trying to play professional, or I'm trying to play in the next level, okay, as well as I know, you have to have a resume. And if you don't have a resume, you're not going. I don't care what you say. I just need a shot if I get a tryout and I dominate there. That's not how this works. No. And, kids have to understand that if you have a resume, like there's kids from D3s that are going overseas that are getting a shot. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, they're all conference or all Americans. So they got that shot and they perform well. And the other thing that's a telltale now, and I know you'll rock with me on this one, but now that we look in the TBT tournament, some of those D3s are doing very well.
Did you see that game this year? I was watching that ending. I was rooting for the D3 to beat Kansas. That would have been incredible.
But my point is, like you just said, they were right there. A team full of D3s was right there with a team full of former Kansas players. What does that tell you right there, Dawson? Like, D3 basketball is no joke. And stop writing off like, oh, I'm going to go there and kill. No, you're not. No, you're not. So, man, and that because, you put in that groundwork at Keene State, so you knew all about D3, and now you're at a JUCO D3, and you're basically explaining it all over again so people can understand JUCO D3. And really, like I said, I know the type of talent you're going to bring in, and for them to understand and say, hey, but the only way you're going to get people to change that perception is when you're able to say, okay, I got 100% placement, or I got an 85% placement, or 90% placement. I'm putting them in NAI, D2. Maybe once in a while I'll get a D1 player. That's the only way. And it's not going to be the kid. It's going to get the parents' attention.
Yep, 100%. That's what I talk to the guys every day about it. The separation from Division 1, D2, D3, with all these low levels is literally minuscule. It is like that.
Yes.
And the only part that's disappointing at the junior college level is I only get these kids for 2 years. It's not a forever home. So instead of like every year, like obviously you have team goals. Like our team goal is to compete for a championship every year. But at the junior college, you have to also have your individual goals, you know, like where can I help you get to in the next couple of years as well. So that's stuff I talk about every single day. And yeah, no, that is my goal this year. I want to have 100% placement for my guys at the 4-year level.
And to me, that's what this is all about. You know, yes, you want to see them succeed on the court, but you want to see them succeed off the court too, man. That's the big thing, which leads me into my next question. So people that aren't familiar with Minnesota Vermilion, what type of 2-year degrees do they offer there?
They pretty much, we have a great broad range. We offer pretty much everything you can imagine, from business to liberal arts to different sciences. I would say we specialize in like criminal justice and like a police academy. And then majority of it is like the other specialization is like the Minnesota like outdoor activities there are. I'm still learning them myself as I'm not accustomed to this area, but it's a lot of like outdoor stuff like the canoeing and like hiking and certain things like that as well.
Okay. So, you know, I know the answer to this, but what is your first year goals at Minnesota Vermilion?
I honestly, because I got the job July like 5th or 6th or whatever, and I had to bring in a brand new roster. So all those guys weren't really like highly recruited guys. You know what I mean? They're all looking for the home in the middle of July as well. So my real personal goal is to get them to a 4-year. I want to build a sustainable program. This program has rich history from a previous coach that was here about, I think 4 or 5 years ago, but he was here for 20, 30 years. His name was Paul McDonald. He had multiple All-Americans. He had guys that played at the Division 1, Division 2 level. And then they competed for national tournaments. They were in the national tournament multiple times and national tournament runner-ups one year, I believe in like the 1980s. But he built a rich history of players that played at the scholarship level. So my goal is to help guys get scholarships and play at the highest levels that they can play at.
Okay. So let me ask this, you know, on top of, will you have study hall? How will you operate this? I know you're going to operate this just like your previous stops, but how are you going to operate at Minnesota Vermilion?
Yeah, so I had a great past 2 years working at Southern New Hampshire under Jack Perry and David Steckel, his top assistant. Both those guys, they came from the Division 1 level. Coach Perry coached at LIU Brooklyn before the name changed to LIU. And then David Steckel stopped at he was at Duquesne, and then he was at UAlbany. So those guys only operate stuff at the Division 1 level. So everything we do, I talk to my guys every single day. Everything we do is preparation for that next level to play at the scholarship level. And that's study halls. We have weightlifting 3 times a week. We have individual workouts daily with me. I don't have an assistant right now, so I'm running pretty much everything myself. You know, we're playing open gyms 4 to 5 times a week.
Gotcha. So are your practice or open gyms in the evening or in the morning? How do you operate?
Right now, it's difficult. Our gym's being used by a high school as well. So it's been fluctuating. So we've been going at like 8 o'clock at night, or like 9 o'clock at night, pretty late at night. But yeah, but I'll operate. We'll do stuff in the when we start. Our season starts October 1st. So once we start, we'll start going in the mornings as well. Either like a run or a lift in the morning, as well as practice later on that evening.
Okay. And so, like I said, I know you're open to the D3 levels, the D2 levels, the NAI levels. Have you built, since you've gotten there, have you built the relationships with some of the local Minnesota D2s and D3s? Because that's rich D3 area up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's that Wisconsin D3 league is one of the best.
Yeah,
oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
That league is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's crazy. I think there's like 8 or 9 Division IIs in Minnesota.
Yes.
So it's awesome. So I exactly what you said. So as soon as I got on campus, August 19th, I just been trying to reach out to all the Division IIs that I can. This year it might not look like we can find a scrimmage, but hopefully in the next couple of years, I want to scrimmage all the Division IIs or the Division IIIs, potentially even like a Division I if we can get St. Thomas in Minneapolis. But I would love to scrimmage. Just so you know, like you're saying, to get my guys the most exposure and play it against the scholarship levels as they can.
Absolutely. I like that, man. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show. Another thing I wanted to ask, now that you're there and you're looking for recruits starting for 24s and 25s, what are you looking for?
So right now, I think shooting is a real big piece, and especially I think coaches, that's what they're really looking for right now. Space in the floor. It's so hard to guard with. If you have 3 or 4 guys on the floor that can really shoot it at a high clip, it just makes you so much harder to guard. I look for guys that can guard multiple positions. I just think that's so dangerous because me personally, I like switching everything defensively, and I put a high premium on defense. So I really look for guys that can guard multiple positions, and I'm really excited. I have tons of guys that guard, that really guard. So I'm really excited to coach the group I'm with. And I really look for size and length at the guard position. Just so, like we're saying, you can switch everything. Guys can guard multiple positions. There's no question on, I have a bad matchup. No, there's no question there.
Okay. And man, and just to wrap this up, man, you're big on the kids, and I know you care about those kids, and I know you want to see all of them make it to the next level. What is it going to be for you to get these 20 kids? And I know some of them are freshmen and some of them are transfers. What is it going to take for you to get them to that next level, whatever level that may be? Canadian, D3, NAI, D2, and I don't know what your roster looks like for this year, and if you're fortunate enough to have a D1.
So I got a 6'9" forward. He's incredible. He's incredible. His name's Jeremy Leonard. I think he's incredible. I think I have a couple guards that are right at the Division I, Division II tweener level. But even then, like, so what I'm just trying to teach these kids is like how we started this conversation. I just want them to go to the place that values them the most, and where they can really play. Because like from my background, even coaching, I coached at Division II, Division III, and then the USCAA level. So I've coached in 4 different leagues now. So I've seen pros in all 4 of those leagues. You know what I mean? And so that's really, I think I can do a really good job of explaining that to the kids. It's not D1 or bust. It's go to the best school that you possibly can that really wants you.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that, and boy, I slipped on that. I mean, yeah, especially that USCAA level, there's some players there, man, and people don't understand that. My guy at the apprentice school, I mean, he does a great job there as well. And I was like, man, I mean, he just doesn't take just because you say you play basketball. No, you gotta be able to play. Like, there's guards, and I tell it's unfortunate for guards. If you're under 6'1", you better be special. You better be special
100%.
In this day and time, because if not, and that doesn't mean you're over 6'1", you get a free pass. It just means if you're under 6'1", you better stand out, because there's so many guards under 6'1", and even you, like, you're going to be like, no, like, you can play, but you're not on my level. And that's going to crush a kid. I'm like, my gosh, I can't go to JUCO D3. Listen, guy, this is no game here. Like, this is for real. Like, there is some, like I said, you got a 6'9" guy that knowing you, I'll probably tell you to send me some tape of that guy. But
I definitely will. I definitely will.
You know, what you have, you know, a lot of these kids think that, you know, they were all league or all conference, that automatically guarantees them they're going to college somewhere. Nah, that doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I mean, you got guys that are dropping down that are not playing. You know what I mean?
I got a kid right now. He's a freshman. His name's Quavant Douglas. He went to Brooklyn Center in Minneapolis. He averaged last year in high school 30 points a game. Averaged 30 points a game his senior year. Didn't have one scholarship didn't have one school looking at him. I was pretty much the only coach to recruit him. And I was just like you're saying, there's guys across the country right now that the same thing is happening. They're just falling through the cracks, and they're not getting the attention that they deserve.
Man, and he may end up being a steal for you. You know, he can end up being a steal, or you know, it could be another situation where, you know, this could be a wake up call for him. Like, you know, you're probably not going to average 30 points coming into Minnesota Vermilion. Like, you may average 10 or 8 points because it's an adjustment. Now you got guys bigger, faster, stronger, great IQs, you know, so he's going to have to adjust.
Yeah, no, and we're talking about that every single day. I think I brought it up to him yesterday. There was 27 guys in all of Division I basketball last year that averaged more than 20 points per game. And I think there's 360 schools times 13 scholarships a school. There's like 5,000 something players, and only 27 averaged more than 20 points a game last year.
There you go. Yep. So they got to find their role and what they're going to be great at.
Yep, 100%.
Hey, man, you know, like I said, man, I can't wait to see what you do up there. You know, I always keep an eye on what you're doing. And I'm sure at some point I'm going to bump into you at one of these JUCO jamborees, because I go to a bunch of them. This year I'm going to up there. I'm going to Chicago's jamboree. So that's Rock Valley is doing that one. So like I said, next year, send me your schedule, and I'll try and make it to one of those jamborees up there, because I cover them all over the place. Now we've come a long way since we first met.
It's awesome to see what you guys have done with this podcast and how much you guys have grown, and it's awesome tuning in and listening weekly.
I appreciate it, man. And, you know, like I said, I've been a big fan of yours from the time we met at Keene State. And, you know, we met downstairs in the parking lot, and you came to take me up to introduce me to everybody, man. I like I said, I'll never forget that. And I always speak about Keene State because, and especially, you know, I start getting emails and texts like, isn't this the team you were talking about before? Yes, man. I tried to tell y'all, like, they could play. It's awesome how you came at like the perfect timing when the program really rounded and took corner, and they hit the ground running right after you came. Absolutely. So it's awesome. It really is. And I fully expect you're probably going to do the same thing there as well. We'll be having this talk in a year or two. Like, man, remember when you first got there? And, you know, I just fully expect that because I know the type of person you are, and I know you know how to run a program. It's not like you're on YouTube trying to do this fly by night. No, you've been at a number of stops to understand different levels and how it works.
100%. And I really appreciate your kind words and your encouragement, and you're firing me up right now.
No, man, you know, like I said, you know, I'm an advocate for every level. You know that, and, you know, that's how we met. And I wanted people to understand what a JUCO D3 is, because, you know, most people don't even understand what JUCO D2 is. You know, right. So JUCO D3 and JUCO Independent, they're like, what's that? And, you know, I'm trying to get parents to understand, do your research, because these are going to be valuable options in the coming years, because it's going to get more and more competitive. And if you don't consider these, it's not even going to be about falling through the cracks. You're just not going to have an opportunity, unfortunately.
Right. The game of basketball at all levels in college is at one of the highest it's got to be it's ever been. It's incredible.
I couldn't agree with you more. Hey, man, you know, like I said, we're 3 years strong in this, brother. You know, this won't be the last time you come on the show, man. good luck out there this season, man. You know I'm gonna be following. Send me your schedule too, because well, let me ask this: are your games live streamed?
Yeah, they'll be live streamed.
Okay, yeah. So I'll get to check them out, through the stream as well. And when you put them out there, I'll retweet them to make sure people get to see the stream, because if one person looks at this and calls and reaches out to you, then that's a win, in my opinion. If they've never known about this and they're like, hey, tell me more about Minnesota Vermilion. It's just really about getting the word out, so you can educate them and run with it from there. And then sometimes parents are like, you know what, this isn't a bad option. It's a win. If it takes that for the word to spread, and if it spreads slow, that's fine. But as long as it spreads and keeps going, I'm with you, man.
100%. And I really appreciate that. I really do.
Nah, no problem, man. Hey, man, as we know, that this won't be your last time on the show as well, man. Good luck, and we'll be talking real soon, okay?
Yeah, no problem. Let me know anytime next time you want me on, or whenever we can chat.
Definitely. That's anything besides us texting. You already know.
All right, have a good one. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. That's my guy right there, Dawson. I get so excited to see so many people move forward in certain directions, because when somebody else is winning, I feel like I'm winning too, because I feel like you're a part of that journey. And man, like I said, it was 3 years ago, pre-COVID, and I just reached out the blue, and Keene State was more than welcoming. The whole staff was, and we've kept that relationship from the door. I mean, from me sending them potential players that were interested in Keene State to spreading the word about them. And now look at them now. They're a D3 perennial power, and I feel like he's going to do the same thing at that JUCO D3. So for you people that don't know, please reach out to Coach Dawson Dixon. He's on Twitter. Very cordial. He's very warm and responsive. He will respond back to you, and if you fit his bill, he'll give you a shot. That's going to do it for tonight, man. I'm out here in Houston, outside on my sister and brother's back porch, just enjoying the scene. And I got a chance to go to the John Lucas camp and mix some time and family at the same time. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my family time, and I will see you guys next Monday. I actually don't have nowhere to go next week. Can you believe it? So I will be back in Atlanta, and we will see you next Monday on the show. You guys take care.